Problem number 5. In lowest terms, what fraction is equivalent to this decimal 0.013 with a 3 repeating? Okay, so if we were to expand that out a little further, that would be 0.0133333, and so on. Okay, so there's what it would look like. We just have a bunch of 3's. So the bar over the 3 just tells us is that 3 repeats itself. Okay, so question is, how do we convert that to a fraction? And there's actually a trick to problems like this. And so what I want to do is teach you that trick. If you haven't seen it before, it would be kind of difficult to try to figure it out on your own. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set x equal to 0.013 with the 3 repeating. Okay, that's just this number here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to multiply this so that I can shift the decimal a little bit. So what I want to do is take 10x, so 10 times x would be 0.13 with the 3 repeating, right? So that's the trick. Or at least that's the start of the trick. If you want to stop here and see if you can work on it some more, you can. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and solve this. So what we need to do to solve this is, if we take 10x minus x, that would be equal to 0.13 with a 3 repeating. Now, I could write that as 0.13 like this. But the reason that I wrote it as 0.13 with a 3 repeating, it's the same thing, but you can see now that if I were to subtract these two numbers, that we could get this part of the decimal to cancel out. So we have this sort of 0.003 with a 3 repeating that will cancel out of both of them, right, if we subtract the two. Okay, so I'm actually going to write this. Okay, so this is 10 times x, 0.13 with a 3 repeating. And x, I'm going to subtract it, 0.01 with a 3 repeating. And if I subtract those two, I have a repeating 3 minus the repeating 3, that's just going to be 0. Okay? And then 3 minus 1 is 2, 0 minus 1 is 1, and then we bring the decimal down. Okay? So 10x minus x is equal to 0.12. Alright? And 10x minus x would be 9x, right? So x is equal to 0.12 over 9. Now, I've got a decimal on the top, and I really want it to be a regular fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by 100, because this is 0.12 is 12 100ths, right? So it's essentially, I'll write it out, 12 100ths over 9, and if I multiply by 100 over 100, that's just 1, and I can actually get rid of this on the top, right? If I take 12 over 100 times 100, that becomes 12, and on the bottom we get 900. Okay? But that's not in lowest terms, as you can see, because I can divide both sides by 3, right? I can divide this by 3 and I get 4, and if I divide 9 by 3 I get, well, 900 by 3 I get 300. And you can see that this is 3 times 100, and 100 is divisible by 4, so that's 1 over 3 times 25, right? 3 times 25, and that's just 1 over 75. Alright? And that's our answer. Okay? So the trick, so if you have something like, let's do an easy one, where you have, we know that 1/3 is equal to 0.33333, and so on, right? But if, so let's say I didn't know that. Let's just pretend I didn't know that. So what I could do is I could take, it's a 0.3 with a repeating 3. If I take 10 times x, and I'm just going to make this x, right? And if I take 10 times x, I would get 3.3 with a 3 repeating. Alright? And then if I subtract the 0.3, so this is x, if I subtract that, I would get 3. And here I would get 10 minus x, or 10x minus x would be 9x, right? So I would get x is equal to 3 over 9, which is equal to 1 over 3, okay? So the trick is just to shift it so that you can subtract 2. So sometimes you have to multiply by 10, sometimes you have to multiply by 100. It depends on how many, decimals are repeating, because sometimes you get like 0.12 with 2 decimals repeating. So you have to shift that by 100 so that you get 12.12, right? So, so that's the trick, all right? There you go.